From the world of AV programming and control with James King, I'm Steve Greenblatt, and this is Ask the Programmer. James, how are you today? It's good to be back for another episode.
I'm doing good, Steve. Always great to be back, and look forward to continuing this discussion from last week.
Absolutely. So if you haven't caught our previous episode, you didn't get introduced to Hope Roth, who we will just say hi to in a second, but that's episode 164. Check that out. And welcome back, Hope. Hope is the a professional services engineer and UCI specialist at Q-SYS. Welcome, Hope.
Thank you so much for having me back.
Thanks for being here. And in the last episode, we talked a little bit about your involvement in the Girl Scouts as well as your AV journey, and also your just the fun you have with control and programming. And I wanted to kind of play on that a little bit and talk about your other involvement, because I know that you're also passionate about helping to represent women in the AV industry in various capacities. And there's the Avixa Women's Council, there's WAVIT, whatever the organization is, it's all providing really good value to both women and the AV industry as a whole. So tell us a little bit about that and what you've learned from it.
Yeah, so unfortunately, there's not as many women in the AV industry as there should be. I think we had gotten up to like 14 or 15% pre-COVID, and then we actually backslid during the COVID years, and it's down now. I want to say it's like 12 or 13%, which that's just, I mean, that's such a small amount of people. I mean, it's great when you don't have to wait in line for the bathroom at Infocom, but other than that, it's pretty hard not to have your people, you know? It's pretty hard to be the only one. And so I really love these women's organizations because they're really just a great support for people, great opportunity to help each other out. Excuse me. Sorry. Um, uh, and you know, there's only one, we can only go up from here, hopefully. So hopefully we can bring more women into the industry and make it a more welcoming place for the industry. I mean, I think that's part of it too, right? You show up on a job site, you're the only woman in the whole building, because construction is also very male. And you know, if people are rude to you, if they're not welcoming to you, you kind of have nobody to turn to. So to have these sort of pockets of people who are there for you, who can be a you know, a listening ear, can offer you up advice, is just huge for that. So I am the co-chair of the outreach committee of WAVIT, Women in AV and IT. Jill Levine is my co-chair. She's awesome. And we're really focused on trying to bring more women into the industry, which I think is going to be great for the industry as a whole, to bring in young, dynamic people with new ideas to really sort of come in and I don't know if I want to say shake things up a little bit, but it you know, our industry tends to skew a little bit old and a little bit conservative, not politically, but conservative in terms of ideas and thought leadership. So I think it's great just to bring new perspectives in.
Definitely great. And all we're gonna say is we need to shake up the industry. Like it definitely needs nothing against the old guard. And because there are some very talented and wise folks there, but you know what? We need more diverse young voices in our industry, more females, more representation for all groups within our industry. And so we need to shake it up. And if it's not, you know, the young folks coming up shaking it, it's us old guards, you know, the white, middle-aged, white, balding men like me. We need to shake it up too.
Don't forget wearing polo shirts.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm thoroughly middle-aged myself, so I'm with you there on a couple of those items. But yeah, new ideas. And I mean, the thing is people worry about IT taking us over and eating our lunch. And, you know, has their own diversity problems, but compared to us, IT is very diverse. And definitely in the IT world, if you're not learning, your company is not going to go anywhere. So we need to be able to sort of hang with them and also to just, relate to them. A lot of the customers that we work with these days are, the end users are in the IT department. And they relate to people who see things in a new way, in a much much more open to new ideas. So, and they want it, and they want to see that you're bringing something. So, um, I have been doing this for about, I think 15, 16 years now. And when I first showed up, I was definitely the only woman in the room, and I'm still often the only woman in the room. But right now, I'm not even the only woman on my team. Kate Adkins, who's just a phenomenal programmer, just joined our team. So there's two of us. Um, and I just remember sitting at the women's breakfast last year at Infocom, and the keynote speaker was the CEO of Girls Who Code. And I was sitting at a table full of coworkers who are women who code. There were, I think 4 or 5 of us all sitting at that table who are highly placed technical women who work at QSC. And, 15 years ago, I didn't think that was possible. So, we still have a ways to go, but I think a lot of these organizations will hopefully go a long way towards helping reach something approaching parity.
Yeah, I mean, I'm, oh man, I'm shocked, and this is not like to pat myself on the back or anything, but it actually made me step back and think about this. Is I've been since I got here at the School of Medicine at UNLV, I've been, hiring my team, my student workers, building off of that, and providing tours to my colleagues, people, reps who come in town, or AV tweeps out there who come in town. They're like, hey, let's check out your building. And twice I have giving some females tour of the building. And when we walk into my office, they're shocked by the number of female student workers I have. And it takes me a step back. And I'm like, why are you shocked by that? Like, I'm going to hire the best people for the position. But that shows you that the representation is not there fully, and it needs to get there.
Yeah, that's so great to hear. I think higher ed is one of the friendlier places for women. Over the years working in the various verticals, it's definitely been higher ed where I've worked with more women. I think it's seen as a more friendly career option because you're not going to have as many of those late nights. You get a lot more vacation days, holidays, things like that. So I think, unfortunately, there's still a pressure on a woman to be the one who can be available when their kids are on vacation or if they're sick, and higher ed is helpful for that. But I also think that when you make a pocket of like a safer space for women, you end up with like little clusters of them. So right now I have a ton of female coworkers, and part of it was because I looked at QSC, I looked at the numbers of women there. Corey Schaefer, reached out to me and told me how great it is, and how, how she's really trying to hire as many women as possible. And I was like, that is the place I want to be. I want to be somewhere where they don't get me confused with someone who looks absolutely nothing like me because we're the only 2 women in the entire company in technical roles. And I still get confused for other women time, but it's a lot less likely when there's a core group of you. So you're doing something right if you've got a bunch of women, because it means that they I guarantee that they have talked, and if it wasn't a friendly and welcoming place for them, you wouldn't be getting new applicants.
Well, that's what I hope, and that I definitely run a diverse group of student workers, and as I tell them all, is they should do better than I am doing.
Yeah, I mean,
So
that's
go
your
ahead.
goal for your kids, right? And that's the goal for the younger generation, is that they have a better world than you have, right? Like, I don't want these younger women that I work with to have to deal with the things I dealt with 15 years ago. I want them to hear my stories and just have their jaw drop and be like, I can't believe someone would say that to you.
100%.
What I was going to bring up was that one side of it is that we have to do our part to make it inviting, and we have to pursue more women, and we have to make it comfortable for them. And then the second part is they have to want to come. So what do you think is lacking in that regard, Hope, in terms of getting more people interested to come to our industry? I think programming is one area where it might be hope a little bit more enticing than maybe doing some field work, as you mentioned, but it, as the industry as a whole, we could use more women in all roles.
Yeah. That's a really good question. It's one I think about a lot. I think anything that we can do to help people with work-life balance is going to help everybody in our industry. I don't think it should be the standard for anybody that you just have to deal with being on a ladder at 9 o'clock at night and missing out on something for your family. Like I think that'll be great for men too. Um, and I think we have gotten a lot better at that. When I first got started out, most of the people I worked with were men who had wives who managed the homes for them. And that was why they were able to do what they were able to do. And I have a husband who also works. He's an IT guy, so he understands how the stuff works. And, he was always very supportive of me and helped me to sort of navigate through this. But I think part of it is we need to have a working environment that's conducive to anybody who has a family or even just a desire to have hobbies, you know. And then a big part of it is treating people with respect. It kind of wears you down after a while when people just assume that, oh, you must be in marketing, which first of all, oh, you must just be in marketing. Like you have to understand how a product works in order to market it, and to sort of denigrate the pockets of the industry where women are, marketing, sales, some project management, that sort of thing is, I mean, that's kind of ridiculous anyways, but you know, little things like if I come into your booth at Infocom, come over and greet me and say hi, because I know a lot of women will walk into a booth and they can't get anybody to talk to them. And if they do get somebody to talk to them, they start at an assumption that they don't have a technical skill, which I've also seen men come in and they're not technical and someone just assumes that they are, and then it's an awkward conversation when things are over their heads. So walk up to everybody in your booth, say hi, ask them how their day has been going, and then ask them what their role is. Figure out, where to start your talk from there, and that's going to help you with everybody. I do it all the time at our booth, and I know people really appreciate, oh, I see that you have, your CCNA and your badge. Like clearly you understand IT stuff. Let's talk about that sort of thing. And then I think part of it too is how we draw people into the industry. So a lot of people come into the industry through live sound. They come into the industry through the allied trades. And a lot of those we're drawing from a lot of places that have traditionally been very male as well. So some of it is just going to have to be recruiting and finding that pool of people. I do think programming is an easier place to draw folks from because there are more women in computer science than there used to be. And I think that being a programmer gives you a lot more flexibility in terms of work-life balance. You can usually work from home. You're in demand enough that you can say, I'm sorry, I'm not traveling on Memorial Day, that sort of thing.
Yep. No, that's all good pluses and things for our audience to be thinking about. James, I'm curious, how many of the women that are your student workers do you get interested in this industry or technology, or do they come interested in technology?
A little of both. I mean, I offer this up to all my student workers. We have meetings one-on-one at least once a month and not frequently. And I always say, hey, what can I do to help you further your career? And one of them, it was actually a female student. She was like, um, I'm looking to build my network. And I'm like, I know great people. Hold on. And I put her in contact with Gina Sampson Sarah, Aaron Moran. There was Alicia Henry and I think Britt Yenser. I'm like, these are folks to start to build your network from. Like, talk with these people, and you can go from there and see. like she was looking at marketing, and Gina really has given her some good advice on that. And but yeah, most of my student workers seem to be comp sci majors, and they do like the field. They n- not just my female student workers, a lot of my even other student workers, the males, and so they don't really understand where they could go with the AV until I sit there and talk with them and say, hey, you could be doing this. I had one I was talking to him. I'm like, "What are you planning to do?" He's like, "I'm not sure." I'm like, "Well, what do you enjoy?" He's like, "I really enjoy gaming." He's like, "I used to be a high level gamer." He's like, "But I don't want to be a professional gamer." He's like, "I really don't want to do it." He's like, "I guess I could go code for a gaming company," but he's like, "That doesn't sound interesting." I'm like, "Well, what else is big in gaming right now?" He's like, I don't know." I'm like, "What about all these esports arenas?" He's like, "Oh, yeah." And I'm like, "And that's all AV."
Yep.
So, you
Well,
giving them ideas.
and you've got Unreal Engine and other gaming engines that are driving virtual production. That's a whole other thing that you could look into as well.
Yeah.
So that, yeah, there's so much out there that people just don't even know about. So yeah, I think a big part of it is just sort of letting people know what's out there, being able to find a mentor. I have to say that is quite the crew of a network that you gave your student. Like, I,
Oh, I could have kept going. I didn't want to overwhelm her. I'm like, "These are good 4 people to start your conversation. If you want more, I got many more you could talk to."
yeah, and I think that the wonderful thing about the community of women in AV is, some people climb up the ladder, they sort of squish their way through not the glass ceiling, but they get like glass ceiling adjacent or whatever. And then they pull the ladder up behind them because it's like, it was hard for me to get here. I'm on the top of this platform. I don't know how long I can stay up here. I don't know how much room there is. I got to look out for me. And you really don't run into women like that in our industry. Um, you know, uh, every woman I've worked with has either been there for someone else, had someone else been there for them, and for most people it's both. And it's really a great community of women who look out for each other. So the outreach committee from WAVIT is going to be announcing some stuff pretty soon of some great options that we have for women. So I don't know, maybe you can have me back on once that's all officially out there, but we have some cool stuff we're cooking up, and hopefully help this community help each other out.
Absolutely.
Great.
That's a great call to action, and we will take you up on that. As we're wrapping up, can you tell everyone how they can get involved in WAVIT or any other organization, female or male? Because I know that support is good from everybody, and then we can learn how to get in touch with you and so forth.
Yeah, I'm a big proponent of helping everyone else. I ran the CTS study group through the Women's Council for a long time, and we had men join our sessions all the time. We helped a guy get his CTS. So, a lot of the resources are out there for everyone. But uh, Women in AV IT is the organization that I'm part of. We're doing great work. Sign up to be a member, sign up to be a sponsor. That would be awesome. Um, I am active on Q-SYS communities for developers. And then you can also find me on LinkedIn.
Excellent. And are you looking for any specific types of people, like are there any, or just anybody in general who wants to get involved?
Women in AVIT, mostly looking for women, but male, we have male members as well. So on the outreach committee, we have Dan Farisi. So we do have men join our organization. Um, and yeah, anyone who just wants to help out, we have a bunch of different committees. There's something there for everyone.
Good choice. Good choice. And Kate Atkins is a great a friend of the show and past guests, and we're excited about her joining Q-SYS and working with you as well. So all good people. They're
Oh man,
uh,
I sometimes I have to pinch myself that I get to wake up and work with some of just the like smartest people you can imagine. And we're up to, I think, 5 developers on our team. And I mean, you work with programmers, so you know how it is. You get the ego in there sometimes, and it can be a little rough. And we don't four of the smartest people I've ever worked with, and everybody is super collaborative. Everybody is super helpful. I learn something from them every day. I'm so lucky.
Awesome. A great team to be a part of, and great people in general. So thanks for being on our past two episodes, Hope. We really enjoyed all that you've brought to the conversation, and we look forward to having you back again.
Thank you so much for having me and letting me share these opportunities with your listeners.
Thanks. And James, any takeaways and anything that you wanted to share? How can people get in touch with you to continue the conversation?
Really, I would hope they take this time and reach out to WAVIT and reach out to Hope and build that community there. WAVIT is doing some awesome stuff. Definitely connect with Hope. Hopefully, our listeners realize over the last two episodes of why I've been trying to get her on here, because she is a rock star. So it's great to finally get her on, and look forward to having her on more often. And again, if you want to get a hold of me, but I said don't get a hold of those other people instead, but I'm on LinkedIn, AV James King. Again, Twitter as well as AV_James King. Anything with HEPMA, again, Google me, you'll find me.
Easy enough. And for me, you can reach me at Steve Greenblatt on social media, my company Control Concepts at controlconcepts.net. And as I've been mentioning, we're trying to do some more things to help programmers in our company. So we build programming utilities and modules and API integrations. So please check those out at our website. And most of them are free downloads. And we look forward to hearing some feedback and some new ideas from this group. But what's most important to James and me is that we get your feedback about the show and other things that you want to hear more about. You can follow us on YouTube as well as your favorite podcast player. Please leave a rating, review, and reach out and let us know, and share your favorite episode, or tell us what you got out of these past two episodes, and also root Hope on. So please leave a message, and we look forward to hearing from you. And until next time, this has been Ask the Programmer.